We have a caller,
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Madiha. I think I've spoken with her on our Urdu channel. So I asked her to maybe she can come through and maybe come to our English show and maybe share her story. Hi, Dr.
Hi.
Madiha.
Hi,
Hi.
Harris. Hi, Nuria. Thanks
Hi.
for having me here.
So yeah, we just wanted to. Well, now that you're here, I just wanted to ask you um, about just tell us a little bit about your journey, about your story. Who are you? Because I think people love to hear from ex-Muslims, people who used to believe in Islam, and then why they left Islam. What happened?
Yeah, sure. So it happened a few years ago. No, no, sorry about the noise. Okay. So it happened a few years ago. I was going through divorce, and when you want to connect with God when you're going through tough time. So I thought it's high time I should, read Quran and connect with God because I really needed that comfort from God. So I had this 45-minute drive to my work, to my hospital. So I started listening to Urdu translation of Quran on YouTube. And as I kept listening, I figured that the message was not as comforting. Every other verse was about God throwing, like talking about throwing you in hell or punishing you. So, like, I kept listening and I was like, I wondered, he's not talking about me. There's no word of comfort, there's no love. As like, I was more surprised to find out that God was not as kind or as loving as that was like preached to us all our lives. So that intrigued me, and I started reading about other stuff that was around, like exploring more and more. And one of my friend was she had expressed that she was an atheist. So at that time, I was like literally, off put. Well, why? What is she talking about? But then it made me realize that I really need to look into it. So I started reading The God Delusion and Sam Harris and Christopher Hitchens and Dawkins. And at that same time, I was also trying to reconcile with Islam, and I was looking into these lectures because he was the most moderate, most liberal from Islamic perspective. So it took me like a couple of years, and I took my
So sorry,
time. I kept
whose
reading.
lectures were they? That was the most liberal, you said?
Ramadi.
Oh,
Ramadi.
Gandhi.
Gandhi. He tries to. He's like, I found he was being an apologist. He was trying to make his argument as trying to sugarcoat as much as he could, trying
Mm-hmm.
to make it for people who are a little bit liberal and who are educated so they can digest his argument. But it just didn't make sense. It just didn't add up. And then the more I kept reading, the more questions were coming on my way. Like I had always had this problem with four marriages, women's status in Islam. So at the same time, when I was going through tough time, I said, I should really go for Hajj or Umrah. So at that time, since I was living abroad, I didn't have any immediate family, no male member in my family. So I was told that I couldn't go alone. I had to have some, what do you call it, uh, a male member with
Mehram.
me.
Yeah.
Mehram, yes, yes.
Mm.
That made me really angry. And I was like, I am living here in America all by myself. I make my living. And
Yes.
when I have to go to see God, I need a male member.
I need a male
So I just,
chaperone. It's
so
not the
I was
prom.
like, this is really like very degrading as a female. So I just didn't go, even though I was a Muslim, I just didn't go. Just, it was my little kind of protest to God. It's like, I'm not gonna go just taking someone with me as a male when I am living my life. Like God sees me, I'm alone, and he's not coming to my rescue.
Yes,
And
girl.
here I have to go like see him with a male member. So I just didn't go. But more and more you read Quran, the more questions were coming. Like then the Prophet's story that he married his adopted son's wife, and a lot of small things. So it like one day I just decided, no, this is it. It just doesn't make any sense. So since 2018, I haven't had any fasting, or I haven't prayed. So also I wanted to tell you that I have two children. So my son, I was
Please don't
trying
give
to
any
teach him.
specific information. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Go
no.
ahead.
So I was like trying to force him to read Quran in English, and he also questioned, like, I would rather be an atheist. At that time, I was Muslim, and it really struck me, and I was like, really, it hurt that, oh, my son doesn't want to be, he doesn't want to learn Quran, but I just didn't want to force my children into anything. So I just left him. I was like, okay, like once he becomes a little bit more mature, then I'm gonna, make him read Quran again. But then it happened that I became an atheist. So my daughter, and
I
I'm
want to
just gonna
say
share
divine
with you.
intervention.
Yeah,
But now,
I'm
but
just
now,
gonna
now it'd
share
be
you
funny.
this.
It'd be
Yeah, so
funny if
I'm
he
just
says,
gonna
"Now, Mom,
share
I want
you.
to be a Muslim now."
No, we won't. So just happened today. It's very, very interesting because
Mhm.
after I was sharing something with Haris, and he said if you want to come to the stream. But just before it happened, we were out for the grocery, and
Mhm.
my daughter, I hadn't had this discussion with her. She's 11, about God or anything. So I didn't know what her beliefs were. So because she has Muslim friends, and so I don't have whatever she wants to believe. So she said, Mom, can I get a candy? And I said, you can just have one. She said, can I have two? And I was like, we read at the shelf, it says, buy one, get one. So she said, God is really kind to me today. I can have two candies. I wanted to have two. I said, yeah, God, he or she, whoever, if he exists or not, he's very kind to you. I said it like that. And she said, what do you mean by that? I said, well, do you believe in tooth fairies? She said, no. So I said, well, then there is no, like, how do you believe in God? It's the same thing. So that really struck her. So Mom, you don't believe in God? I said, well, there is no evidence. So, I mean, if you don't believe in tooth fairy, there is no way, like you can't prove there is God or not. Can you prove there is tooth fairy? So that's what she said. Oh, so now it makes sense. You didn't want me to fast. I said, yeah, I just didn't. I just thought it's kind of a child abuse. So I just didn't want to hurt your feelings. So I asked her, did I hurt your feelings? I don't know if you want to believe in God. She said, no, no, Mom, you didn't hurt my feelings, but it's just all makes sense now. So I just wanted to have this discussion with her when she was little bit more understanding of the topic. So I
Mhm.
just had this discussion with her today. So and I'm just happy the way she handled it, and she understood the point. So I think what you guys can discuss in your channel, how the parents who are in America or all these countries abroad, they are Muslims, and they're brainwashing their children into this religion, and they're being more rigid than kids are back home for some reason, because they feel like
It's an
they will
identity
lose the
thing.
grip. Yep,
Mm.
they'll lose the grip. So these kids are more rigid, and I think we need to address this issue, how to navigate through this, and not to like let these kids um, get brainwashed into this stuff, which just
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
And I think the best way to do that as well, like you sometimes just use like, their own stuff against them, like no compulsion religion. Why are you telling me to pray? No compulsion. Leave me alone.
Yeah,
They use that whenever it suits them. It's been abrogated. Your religion, to me mine. But sure, if that's what it takes to have a Muslim stop indoctrinating you or checking on how many times you've prayed or if you've fasted, I would literally say to people who would judge me for not being a good enough Muslim, because it's so hard. I'm not
right,
going to pray 5 times a day and fast for a month. Like, this is a lot.
right,
But you basically say that it's between me and my Allah. You have no right to judge me, and you shouldn't be trying to be holier than thou. That whole concept is bad. But yeah, I'm very glad that you know, you didn't even put, even as a Muslim, you didn't put that pressure on your son. I think a parent not doing that, like your omission in a way, or kind of enables that child to take this path of freedom. Because my parents did the same thing. It was never like the carrot and stick method with Islam. They tried to do everything to tick their duties of like, we've raised a good Muslim daughter and we've given her all the foundation she needs. But then they're not sitting here saying, you know, Bita, have you prayed? Have you done this? Because I'd be like, just leave me alone, Dad. Like, it's on me. If I haven't, that's my sin, and I'll end up in hell. Like, we won't see each other, sure, but you know,
you're saying that, you know, it wasn't carrot and stick, and her omission is considered as you know,
beneficial in a way to.
But beneficial, but so that's the problem. That's the same logic Prophet Muhammad used, that her silence is considered her consent.
Silence is never even in law, silence is never considered consent, ever valid. But yeah, no. Did you want to say anything else? Sorry, you've honestly made my day. Like, we get such few women on here, and your story. And I've always wondered, because my grandparents, my family read the Quran in Urdu, and I always have wondered, because I've done it at extent, English is enough for me. I was like, is it as bad in Urdu? Like, are they reading this and also thinking, hold on, that's like, as you're saying, as you read it, right, you're like, this is not the Mr. Rahman and Rahim that I've taught about.
So the other thing is, I think the parents are scared that the morality comes from the religion, and that's a misconception that needs to be, you know, addressed, that it doesn't. My kids seem to have a better morality than I was, you know, brainwashed as a Muslim, but I feel like their morality is stronger because they're raised in this culture, and we were, you know, they don't judge anybody. We were raised to judge people who are gay. We were raised to judge women who don't wear, you know, full clothes. We were raised to judge everybody. Like, so they're not raised to judge like that, and they actually correct me sometimes, and I learn from them. So, and I feel like every human have their inbuilt moral compass, and their morality kind of revolves around that compass. And you don't need religion. Like, so basically, when you're Muslim, you're doing the right thing because of the greed that you will get rewards in heaven, and you're doing the wrong things
like Super
out
Mario.
of fear of punishment. So you're not doing the right thing for the right reason. You're not doing the right thing because that is the right thing to do. You're doing the right thing because you will get some reward for it. So, like, you're lying because you're not lying because if you lie you'll go to hell, but you're not lying because lying is bad. So that is the difference.
And a lot of those times you're actually ending up doing bad things because that's what God has ordained to be correct, even though it goes against your own morality. And I never, as a Muslim woman, concept of Hallalas, I was like, I couldn't understand why that happens. I was really trying to be like, Allah, let me level with you. Let me try and get into your head. Why have you chosen this method for us? You're the all-wise, all-knowing. There must be some insane reason behind this. And you realize that goes against every cell in my body to want to carry out halala, but that's what God has ordained.
Feel like the people who are in Pakistan, the reason why the whole Pakistan or Muslim world is messed up, because they have this free pass that they can do all the wrong things, and they just buy $3,000 ticket for Saudi Arabia and go for Hajj, and they'll come clean as a baby.
Haji Saab is a newborn baby.
So they're basically bypassing the laws and all the punishments that are given to people when they do wrong things here. They think, now they're all clean, so they can do everything all over again. And that is the bypass, I think. And that is the reason why all the wrong things are happening in Pakistan. The morality is so, there is no morality, there is no concept. Because of this Hajj and Umrah thing, that all your sins will be forgiven and you come clean. So you do wrong thing to one person, you hurt someone, when you go pray to God, and you're good to go. So what about that person you hurt? What about the person you cheat or lied or you did fraud with? So that is the problem people don't understand. And I think we need to bring this to attention to people that this is messed up.
And
said,
how bad is Islam? Sorry, go on. Like, how bad is Islam? Just one last point on this loophole thing, because that's a really good point. That like certain days fasting in Ramadan, but also in the Hadith it talks about like the day of fasting, which the Prophet saw the Jews doing, and it forgives if you fast on that specific day, which the Prophet used to do pre-Islamically as well. He basically copied that from the Jews, but it says your sins are forgiven for this year and the next year. So you have a get out of jail free card from Islam. You can sin that entire year, but because you fasted on the day of Ashura, I'm good for a year, bro. Like, I can sin as much as I want now and it doesn't count. So it is like you're always in this video game of like, it's like Super Mario. You're banking your rewards for heaven. And as you said, this one-way ticket coming back, shaving your hair off. You're a newborn baby and you're a Haji Saab and you're respected. It doesn't matter if you have sexually molested a child the year before in the madrasa. You're clean in God's eyes.
Right. So my daughter asked me today, so Mom, so since you're not a Muslim, so would you let me eat pork? And I said, listen, I was brainwashed into hating pork. So whenever I see pork products, I feel kind of disgusted and nauseated. And it's all about brainwashing. It's not like there's something wrong with the pork. So it's just the same way the Hindus are brainwashed into, not eating cow because they think it's sacred. They worship it. So it's all a matter of brainwashing. So I won't stop you if you want to eat it. That's your choice. She said, oh, Mom, actually, I also don't like it because you told me it's not right to eat. I said, yeah, so it's all in the head. And then I told her, in Islam, women have less share in property. How would you feel about that? She said, no, that's sexist. So she knows.
Yes,
I said, a man can have
great
four.
one.
And I said, a man can have 4 wives. And she was telling me, oh, Mom, there's an anime. His name is Ted Tenkins, and he has 3 wives. I didn't know about that. I was like, so how do you feel about that? She said, I think it's weird. So,
Yes.
so it's like kids have a lot of knowledge. I mean, if they're not brainwashed.
Just wanted to raise a couple of points that you Nuria mentioned. Talala, I think Dr. Medea sent it to me as well, that she was actually asking one of her friends, Hallalas is too derogatory for women. No man is worthy enough to go through this traumatizing process for a woman, or vice versa, I'd say. So anyway, so there's this, it's your another rich, privileged Pakistani American women having an argument with you on Facebook and whatever. So anyway, so it's interesting that you're talking about that and you sent it to me, that how it is. And then she just, at the end, this is what's happening. The reason I wanted to show it, because then at the end, when argument, I don't know where it went, and then doctor said, I still can't wrap my head around this. And then she sent a photo of my very explicit video where I spoke about Prophet Muhammad's scandal with Maria Kiptia, where I actually went in gross detail when I go like where Prophet Muhammad went to Hafsa's house to satisfy her. That was her turn, and they said, "Oh, your husband, your father is calling you, Umar." And then Hafsa went there, and then she came back to see that Muhammad was actually having sex with the maid. Yeah, she was punked. She said, "Oh, I would never touch her again." So that's the story. So I wonder what the response was. Do you wanna tell me?
So I haven't heard back from them.
She blocked you.
So I was like, no one has blocked me. So this one is a more like a liberal. There is another Islamic group for physician women. This one is more like for everybody, and people talk all about like there are like a couple of atheists in it. So no one has blocked me, but no one has responded either. And I actually looked for Haris's videos because he's hilarious. So he's like a lot of videos he makes kind of he jokes and all that. But in this video he was kind of sober.
Oh, sober!
He was trying to be sober, so you were like trying
sober,
to, like you were, a little bit.
I'm not usually. I'm not drunk that often.
You're drunk on life, yeah, you are.
They get like really offended if you joke about it. So he's like a little bit serious, and he's giving more on a serious note. He's talking about this issue. So because he can be really funny about this story, and the story is funny, but so yeah, he was like a little bit serious. So that's why I shared it, in that they can handle hopefully they can handle it and then listen. I wanted all of them to listen to the whole story, not just turn off once they see it's
Right.
where it's going.
Well,
But I don't think a lot of people know about this, so this should be shared as much as possible.
Oh yeah, well there's a lot,
Yeah.
but that's 1 million people saw this debate on Indian TV. 1 million people. Well, I think it's probably gone up to 1.5 million now. So this is, and they have no answers to it. They literally have no. These things are literally embarrassing. Quote Ibn Ishaq. Tell the story that when Hafsa came, she found Muhammad on her bed having said, "This is what
It
is
was
it?
just a dirty grape, Paris. It's not a woman. It
No,
was
no,
a
dirty
grape that turned
honey.
sour or something.
No, honey. It was honey. It was honey.
It was
A
honey.
smelly honey. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was smelly honey apparently. But then, but yeah,
Otherwise,
no. But Yasir Qadhi and all there's a huge amount of clergy scholars who actually agree with that version as well. That's the troubling part. It's the ordinary Muslim. That's the one who gets embarrassed. No, it must have been honey. No, I don't want to believe this. My prophet
because
was
Mum's
a
bad breath is
two-timer.
being thick there. You know what I mean? Like, this honey had him to have bad breath, and his wife got mad at him. Okay.
That's also problem from Barelvi school of thought. I'm sure it'd be problematic from other, because Prophet Muhammad's poop smells better than musk and jasmine. But
The
how come
ground
his breath
opens up to like retrieve it. Yeah, how does his breath stink? Exactly. Why was his corpse? Why did his literal dead body was left lying there and stunk? There's like reports like he died like any other person would. In fact, they weren't even bothered about Muhammad's dead body in his
3
funeral.
days.
Like, so
and that's why it started stinking. It started smelling. That's why. But anyway, the point is, both ways it's screwed. And then there again, these mental gymnastics. This is so pathetic. Such a pathetic religion. But anyway, thank you, Dr. Medea, for coming and sharing.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was your story was so inspiring, and congratulations on your divorce. I literally, I don't think this is. I had a divorce party myself. Like, you got yourself out of a situation. Amazing.
It's actually a thing, isn't it?
It is a thing. Yeah, for sure. My friends
divorce
were like, when we partying, let's do this. Cut a cake, everything. But for sure, I mean, you're getting out of a situation that you would rather not be in. So that's a win, whichever way you look at it. But also, I just want to say hats off. You're raising your children very, very well. And as you said, like, I think there's a lot we can learn from them. Your point about, just really quickly before you go, your point about brainwashing children is so true, because I'm guilty of this myself. I was a brainwashed child. Like, when I was a Muslim, I hold my hands up and I'm guilty of, I was very homophobic. I thought people were eternally sinning if they were gay. And I thought no matter how nice I can be to them on earth and they could be my friends, they will go to hell and they are doing wrong by my Allah's eyes. So and it was my little sister. She's like much younger than me. So she's effectively Generation Z. And she would literally, when watching the news, like stand up for LGBTQ plus rights so much, to the point where I said to her, like, are you lesbian, or are you gay, or do you identify with this community? You stand up for them a lot. And she hasn't been brainwashed to the same extent that I was. I was the eldest child, so obviously the parents care less with more and more children. They're like, Quran classes, whatever, forget it for her. So she doesn't have that. And she literally said to me, like, why would I not speak out when somebody's basic human rights is being challenged? Like, you're judging this person. And I literally was so taken aback, and I was like, yeah, you're right. Why, who am I to say that they shouldn't be allowed to live and exist and have the right to, like, if my opinion invalidates their existence, surely my opinion is wrong, not their existence. So I really, like, that was a massive self-check for me. And like, I learned so much from her when I want to go and like learn about, like, so what you're saying is completely true. You don't get your morality from the Quran and these scriptures and stuff. Sometimes it is. And that's why I have so much faith in the new generation, when all these politicians kind of like, they have their time and this comes to an end. This new generation are a lot more like, we're just going to stand up for people's rights. Well, I don't have to be a part of this community to say that human rights is a value for everybody. And as you said, when you're not indoctrinated from the beginning, it's a lot easier to think like that. I'm ashamed of the way I used to think, but I'm so grateful I was able to move past it. And I really appreciate that you're passing that on to your children, and you're asking your daughter how she feels about second, third, fourth marriages, because I already see like that self-respect that's inbuilt within her, that Islam hasn't like shattered, you know, that a woman should put up with a man having more women. No, we shouldn't. Put your foot down. That's weird. That's wrong. And I see
one last thing I want to say. I was brainwashed. I was raised in Pakistan. So in Pakistan, the basic human rights, there's no concept of that. The word is actually demonized because it's associated to all these NGOs, because they were the ones who were talking about these human rights. And whenever the word I saw in newspapers and when I was growing up, I didn't pay much attention. I was taught like, you know, it's American conspiracy and human rights are not nothing, like it's Allah's will before anything. So that is the concept that everybody in Pakistan and probably in America, all these Muslims movements, they grow up with. So that needs to be changed, that human rights take precedence before gods or God or anybody. But you know, it's basically really about changing your mind. People are not even willing, especially women are not even willing to listen. They're like, you'll really rarely find women who are actually atheists or even willing to change their mind. Men are more, I think, open-minded, but women are not.
Yeah, there was a poll as well that they did a survey, and it said that women tend to be, because women really like they hold on to those feelings of like hope, as you said, and I think Islam doesn't set women up to leave. It sets you up to like instill so much fear and guilt into you that you find the safe space within your Stockholm syndrome. You literally get comfortable there, and you end up living your entire life in that space. And in general, it's such a sad reality, but I mean, so far what the data has shown us is that women tend to believe in religion or want to hold on to it slightly more than men. Yeah, so I mean, again, that's why this is amazing. Like, women like you're responsible for the next generation. You are cutting out that generational indoctrination from the source, and you are changing your ways, and you're making your children think critically and be inquisitive and question dogma. This is women like you, mothers like you are the future.
All right. I just wanted to share. Well, thank you very much for coming. And Nuria, I just wanted to share that with you because you said that the question you asked your sister if she was gay or something.
Yeah.
Have a listen to this. This is not that far-fetched, but it is. You see how religion really clouds your judgment, and how it actually just turns you into a very indecent person unknowingly. Listen to this guy.
One of the gay rights activists, Mr. Should I call you Mr? Pepe Julian Onzima. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for
Good morning.
Morning.
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.
Wow, this is how naive you are with religion. You expect someone to be gay if they're defending their rights. That's how clapped religion is. Sorry. I was literally like, why are you speaking on this? Are you one? And she was like, no. Why can I not speak out for people's human rights? And I was like, touche. You go at a girl. Yes.
That's one thing, because I as you would know, like in Urdu, obviously these topics are really new, and people cringe at homosexuality or whatever. So when I started talking about them, there was an onslaught for the first 6 months or even a year or something that Haris is gay. But they also realized, you know, like maybe 10 years ago I would have been offended. I'm like, nah, man, I'm not. But again, like, do you remember the movie Deuce Bigler, European Giggler? Second one, there was just a funny part where with this guy, he's a homophobe, but he's a gigolo. But then every time, so something happens, some guy gets killed. So what the movie does, like he's always shown in a weird position, where it's like he's just bending over to pick up something, but there's a guy there, so it seems like he's doing. So he's like, no, I'm not gay.
When you've
I'm not
dropped your
gay.
thigh over your head just at trouser level.
So, but people like us, even though we're not gay, we're like, well, okay, if you want to say that I'm gay, fine, I don't care. It's not an insult to me. So really, so a lot of people, we see that, or people spread out ideas, like, oh, what should I do? Should I just send a photo? Like, should I post photos of me kissing a woman to show them that I'm not gay. Oh, sorry, man, we're not going to do this. It doesn't matter. But anyway, they backed off. But yeah, that's the mentality. When you're clouded by judgment, by religion, that's how you see things. You're talking about gay rights, then you must be gay. But anyway, thank you very much for coming, Doctor.
As opposed to
Thank
you
you.
can't just genuinely care about someone's rights in existence. What the hell?
Exactly.
That's so messed up.
With that, and that's another part where they say, well, we're talking about ex-Muslim. Why are you speaking against Islam? You must be getting paid from the Zionists or Hindus or whatever. You must be. I mean, why would you speak against it otherwise? Maybe because I don't like it. So
Yes.
I get it.
Biatch, I'll do it for free.
If you like these videos and want to support me in my activism, then you can support me on Patreon or PayPal. Stay free, everyone.